Welcome to Micro Metal Mondays. Welcome back to Micro Metal Mondays. This week, we are talking about one of the most famous metal albums of all time. Van Halen's first record, Van Halen 1. This album was released February 10th, 1978. And it changed the guitar world forever. Now, a lot of the albums I've talked about during this series would fall a lot more into the category of heavy metal. Whereas this, many people would put it into the category of maybe hard rock, or even hard rock, heavy metal, or glam metal. Potentially. Now, the second track off this album, Eruption, which is an instrumental track, a solo from Eddie Van Halen, which is only 1 minute and 42 seconds long. This is the track that completely changed guitar playing forever. It is undoubted that Eddie Van Halen's influence on the guitar is as big as the likes of Jimi Hendrix. There is no doubt in my mind that the techniques such as tapping, which is where you play notes on the fretboard with your picking hand as well as your fretting hand, these techniques existed before Eddie Van Halen. He did not invent these techniques, but he definitely did popularize them. There is no doubt at all that he was the one that brought these techniques to the mainstream and influenced an entire generation of guitarists because of it. And what's very important here is that you can still feel the immense influence that this album has on the heavy metal genre to this day, and guitar playing in general. If you listen to a math rock band or anything like that, you can hear the influences of this album. Whether they listen to it or not, they were inspired by someone who was inspired by this album. This is a diamond certified album. It has sold over 10 million copies. David Lee Roth is the lead vocalist on this album, and he has an incredible voice. Once he left Van Halen wasn't the same, in my opinion. And I would highly recommend going to and listening to anything of David Lee Roth's solo career, which, if you are looking for that material, just look up the David Lee Roth band. And many, many great musicians played with him in that band. And then Michael Anthony and Alex Van Halen. Michael Anthony on bass. You can hear the bass work is tremendous on this album. And the drums as well by Alex Van Halen. All unbelievable. And yet, although David Lee Roth's vocal performance is unbelievable, Michael Anthony's bass work is believable, and Alex Van Halen's drum work is unbelievable, all people talk about is Eddie Van Halen's guitar work. That is how good it is. That it stands head and shoulders above these elements of these songs that are already to such a high standard. Eddie Van Halen was one of the greatest guitarists to ever live. Please Please listen to this album. At least Eruption. It is such an important track, and it's only a minute and a half long, roughly about. So it takes no time at all. Thank you for listening. Please listen to this album. Goodbye.